We are doing another little video on the photos of Leroy Smeltzer, which have been shared with us by Glenn, his son, Glenn Smeltzer. And there'll be a momentary blip here. And we see this in motion. It looks like a very important day in Greensburg. Maybe the 1940s. I see 3 limousines in a row coming up the hill. We're looking at Pittsburgh Street from the vantage point of the courthouse. This street coming across down here is Pennsylvania, and the next scene we see will be the intersection right there. That's the intersection, Pennsylvania and Pittsburgh, and it's nice to see a cop smiling once in a while. This is up at the courthouse. An event was going here. You can tell by the flags and the people all assembled. Something was happening. Maybe someone can tell me what it was. This is the Greensburg High School marching band for the occasion. And here's another shot of them. This looks like the time of the Second World War, a time when war bonds were being sold. Here was a time when Leroy Smeltzer was up in an airplane shooting down on Greensburg. Here's the courthouse. Here is Main Street. And the next scene we see will be this building down here. Something which is not there anymore. It perished in a fire in 1949. It was the old Coliseum, sometimes referred to as the Market House. This building existed since 1906 until 1949 when it perished in a fire. That's Sanborn mapping showing it right here. Corner of Vanier and West 3rd. Here we're at the corner of Pittsburgh and Main Street. And this shows that same corner, but from a different vantage point. And this is the building we had been looking at just previously. And we're going to see this building torn down. This was the centennial of Greensburg's incorporation. Now this shows the building when it had been torn down. You see there's still a steam shovel in there excavating. And next we'll see what was built up there to replace it. That was the 5 and 10 cent store, which is also gone now. And that's what's there now, a nice area of landscaped ground. This takes us down to Pennsylvania Avenue and the time of the First World War. That's the Casino Theater, I believe, on the Pennsylvania Avenue also. Manos Theater, corner of Pennsylvania and Otterman. And this is over on Pennsylvania by where Bort's Hardware now sits. This fellow standing on the left is none other than the father of Leroy Smeltzer, H.C. Smeltzer, who worked at Zundel and Weinman Company. And the grandfather of Leroy, of Glenn Smeltzer, who shared these with us. Another parade. Seems like Leroy liked to photograph parades. We're up now on Academy Hill. This is one of the buildings that gave Academy Hill its name. Up on the next hillside you see Seton Hill. And it looks like it was springtime that time. Little buds coming out. Here we see one of the buildings of Walworth Valves, which is gone now. But believe it or not, this was actually an historic structure for a certain reason. Even though it looks like every dirty old factory building you've ever seen, it was a prototype structure of the architect Ernest Ransom. It was one of his first of a certain type of building, identified by the loft structure with the fill-in of brick veneer and windows. And it looks like all the other dirty buildings because it was one of the first. This is up on Grove Street, the ball field up there, and there are probably people around who could tell me who these people were. We go up to Carbon, the airport. This was the opening of the airport in Carbon. And they brought in some big airplanes for the opening of the day. Now here is a big roller, which is from the county road department. This was one of the events of when that airport was being built. That barn is going now, but something that remains, this building down here you see is still there. And the next frame we see is going to show that building as part of a whole complex. There was a mine down there. It was the Greensburg Coal and Coke's Seaboard Shaft, a mine right in Greensburg. This right here was the actual shaft, the head frame over top of the shaft that went down. Take the guys in to dig the coal and bring the coal out. And the next scene we'll see will be in this building right over here. It was a place that had a complement of compressors in, and it made compressed air to drive compressed air engines which worked inside the mine to move the coal around. This particular mine shut down in 1918. Here is Route 30, the bypass, Stanton Street going across, and right here is where Seaboard Shaft used to be, and those buildings are still there. That's what's there right now, the moving company, Walter Moving. If you drive by there on the bypass and see that, some of these buildings are what used to house the structure, the infrastructure of the mine, the Seaboard Shaft mine. 1949 was a big year, a sesquicentennial, 150 years of Greensburg's existence as a corporate entity. And they were celebrating it. This is another of Leroy Smeltzer's shots of circuses. He liked to do circuses. This was down, from what I can tell, in the field just to the south of Huff Avenue. It's still an open field there, but circuses used to set up there now and then. And we've come far enough on this one now. And I'm going to say so long, and we'll see you again. Bye.